Alright, so what we're going to talk about today is the initial data sync setup through Operations Center web. The initial setup has to be done through the web version. I'll start through it here. You just click your setup button up top and go to data sync. So if you haven't enabled it, this is what it's going to give you is an overview as far as what data sync is. The general overview is all of your setup data that you have within Operations Center. As long as you have data sync enabled, it will now automatically sync to your equipment. So if you make changes to your boundaries or your flags or your farm and field structure, your products or your varieties in Operations Center, that will automatically sync to your displays. But if you scroll down through here, it's going to give you the initial syncing process as far as what's going to sync that's on the display and what's going to sync that's on Operations Center. So you'll just scroll down through here, kind of read through it. The way I've been instructing people to do it is get your Operations Center account cleaned up to where you want it, and then go out to your displays, clean them off, and then enable data sync. You don't have to do all your displays at once, so if you just kind of want to do it one by one, you have the option to do that as well. But you kind of have to read through this setup or this overview process first, and then you can go on to the next. So here, like I said, watch up top here, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4. But basically, it's going to give you an overview of what's going to be synced to the displays, and you can actually click into it, and it's going to take you to what's going to be synced. Go back to our data sync. Here it's telling me I have 2 active boundaries, 2 fields, 2 farms, and 1 client, and 3 guidance tracks, 1 flag. All of this is going to be synced to the display. This is giving you an option as far as how new data uploaded, what's going to happen to that data that's being uploaded. Is it going to go to the archives, or do you want it to become available? This is just going to be user preference. A lot of times I'll probably want it to become available, so I'm just going to check it available. That way, if an operator or somebody types in something or adds something, I want to be able to see it and see, why they typed it in, or what's the reason for them adding it, and just having instant access to it instead of having to go filter through it through archives. So I'll click next there. And then here, this is the available equipment I have in my account to enable data sync. So it has to be a Gen 4 display for data sync to work on it. Here you see I have my combine that I can do. It's telling me a software update is recommended. It's on 22-3, but it's not mandatory. You have to be on software version 22-2 for data sync to work. So if you're not on 22-2, it'll tell you right here as far as software update mandatory for this to work. And then here it's going to tell you the software version. But here, if I wanted to enable these machines, I could just check mark them and click enable 1 display, or I could check mark them all and hit enable 2 displays, or I can skip for now if I don't want to do anything. But once you read through all that, here's going to be all of your, this is kind of the basic data sync overview page. It's telling you over here what all is being synced to these displays. And then here is going to be a list of your machines with compatible displays. It'll tell you the serial number and the software version too. And then it'll tell you the sync status as far as is it disabled, is it enabled, and then it'll also tell you the last timestamp of when a data sync was done. If you have a pretty big client farm field structure, a lot of setup data within Ops Center, the initial sync will probably take 10 to 15 minutes to each display to kind of get it synced on there. But after that, once you make kind of minor changes throughout, day-to-day operations, the sync will take less than 5 minutes to sync whatever over you're changing. But that's about it for this data sync overview. Going to be a huge tool, especially for people that have huge client farm field structures or have a lot of setup data and get real in depth with it. So, but like I said, this is just a brief overview of the data sync page within the Ops Center web app.